Welcome to Talk Birdie-tome. This is Australia's most popular golf podcast, with former world number 16 Nick O'Hearn, the only player to beat Tiger Woods twice in match play, and tour pro Mark Allen, who played professional golf around the world for 15 years, including a British Open. We're coming from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters. Titleist is the #1 ball in golf, and FootJoy is the #1 shoe and glove in golf. And thanks to our great partners, Watch My Numbers, the most powerful database golf app in the world. Download from the App Store or Google Play. Ping, as with Nick O'Hearn, will help you play your best. See your local golf shop or professional for a Ping Club fitting. The Golf Clearance Outlet beat everyone's prices. Visit golfclearanceoutlet.com.au for your nearest store. And Betr, the fastest and easiest betting app in Australia. Now that's better. Now, from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters, it's time for Talk Birdie-tome. Here's Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen.
Can't even put it in words, really. You know, you don't really realize it until you have kids yourself. The sacrifices that my wife makes every day, it just makes you so much more grateful for the parents that you have. And I just can't believe all those sacrifices from my parents paid off.
Good day, everybody. Welcome to the program. Nick, good to see you.
And you, Mark? How was that win, by the way?
Oh, that was enormous. That was enormous.
What did you think of the golf course too? Philadelphia Cricket Club, we spoke about it a lot.
Yeah.
It was a bit unfortunate they got some rain early on, so it was soft. They tore it up the first day. But then it just firmed up as it went along, and I thought it played beautifully.
You know what? It wasn't windy. It wasn't a windy weekend, and I reckon the PGA Tour tried to put some teeth into the tournament by rolling those greens and getting them to a speed that the US players are not used to.
They were quick.
They on the weekend, they were super quick, and it was nice just every once in a while, if the forecast is favourable, to do that for the weekend. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
No.
I know some players go, hang on a second. In all my practice rounds, these greens were running at 10.5. How come they're running at 13.5 all of a sudden? I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
The players are good enough. They still shot in the 60s.
That's
I mean,
right.
it was a par 70 golf course, so it wasn't the longest course in the world. But it needs a defence like that. And we saw coming down the stretch, there were certain parts of the course where you just can't hit it. Like the par 3, I think it was 16, JT went left, Larry went left, and it's like, it's dead over there.
You cannot go left.
Yeah. And
I
that's
thought it
how
was
golf
great.
courses should be.
I thought it was great. And by the way, when we're talking about the speed of the greens, that's what the practice putting green's for. That's,
As long as they got it the same.
As long as you step onto that practice putting green on Sunday, and those greens are pretty much exactly the same, are the same as what you are going to experience when you hit your ball onto that first green, there's no issue with that. That practice putting green is always a warning to me. Even for my golf, at Kingston Heath, sometimes the greens range between 13 when they're getting them faster for a club championship, and other times when there might be some hot days coming up, and they just got to protect the greens from a really warm patch. You walk onto that practice putting green and you hit a few putts and you go, I know exactly what's going to happen on the first.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong with doing that at the highest level as well, and I thought it was brilliant, and I hope they do it more often.
I totally agree. I remember walking on to Huntingdale one year at the Australian Masters, and I hit my first couple of putts, and I'm going, okay, they've rolled these. They've given them extra roll, maybe an extra cut. I don't know, but these things are quick.
You would have loved that.
I loved it.
I love the fast
faster
green.
the better.
I love the fast greens too,
them.
because you knew that half the Queenslanders wouldn't know what the hell was going on when the greens were running at 13.5.
But a couple other fantastic wins for us. We had Lucas Herbert, International Series in Japan, and then Ryan Fox almost stole the Myrtle Beach Classic, the opposite field event in the PGA Tour. So how's that for Australasian golf right now?
Yeah, it was great. All significant because, Lucas Herbert, obviously Australian. We got Ryan Fox, New Zealand. And Sepp Straka is my guy who I told everybody to keep on backing him.
Yes.
And I backed him at the Masters.
Yes.
I backed him at the Heritage.
Yep.
I backed him somewhere else.
You're on him?
Yep. You're on him.
You're on him.
And I did not back him. I did not back him. But you know what? I checked. He was $71 on Betr.
Oh, my goodness.
$71. And I saw it there. And I do not know why I didn't put my 50 on, because I'm usually really good at doing that. And then when I saw him at the top of the leaderboard, I quickly, this is on second round or third round. I've had a look at my PGA Tour app and I've gone, Sepp Straka. All right. Now, quickly, how good is he swinging the club?
It's pure.
Can Dan? I sent you a clip of him. Now, this shot, I know you're doing the masterclass on this.
Masterclass is on it, yeah.
Because honestly, this was a touch of class.
The fairway bunker shot on 18. He's one shot in front of Lowry. Lowry's in the... no, he drove it into the grandstand, didn't he?
Yeah,
right, Lowry. Yeah,
Lowry drove it left and ended up hitting a very good. They both hit the green, and not many players have been hitting the green. We might as well, Dan. I know you got two versions. Why don't you just show the first version, where we actually see where the ball finishes up. So there's two versions. Then we'll have a look at his golf swing in just a tick.
I love his golf swing. There's just not much that goes wrong with it.
There's a couple of things I love in golf swings. In fact, there's more. There's a few. One is setup. When you see someone balanced and perfectly aligned, it's a big tick. And believe me, not every pro is like that.
Oh, and balance is the key. And I'm going to give you a big plug here. So my dad told me the other day. He said I watched Mark's masterclass about putting the club in, moving forward, so you get that balance right.
So you don't reach.
And he hit the ball beautifully.
Beautiful.
So there you go.
Mr. O'Hearn. I know you're a great basketballer, a great baseballer, sir. But welcome to the world of golf, because
he's a good golfer too.
Good golfer player.
Yeah. Oh, these days, I think he's 14 or 15.
And how old is he?
He's 83 now. But he was off single figures for 30 years. Oh, many times.
He shot his age many times.
Yeah, I think the first time was when he was 74. So, yeah.
Mr. O'Hearn, you're a superstar.
He's a player.
I reckon if you shoot your age, I say this all the time, I think it's the best thing in golf.
Yeah,
in amateur golf, to shoot your age, I think it's the best thing you could ever possibly do.
And Getty player agrees with you.
Yes, that's right. Now, let's get back to where we started. So there's a few things that I rate significantly. Have you got the full swing of this shot?
I think, yeah.
Okay, can you play that for us?
Put it on for our YouTube.
So for people who are listening in the car, he had a long iron from a bunker, no lip reel damage. He made the most beautiful golf swing you've ever seen. And Nick, how about this?
No, lands it just short. You see how firm and fast the greens are there too. And that was not a tricky putt from back there. It went about 40 feet past, but the irons, it never looked like leaving the flag. I thought it might have even gone in for a second. So.
I watched it live. When I saw it land, I thought he'd hit it at 6 feet. I mean, like he said, the greens have been rolled, and you got a bit of a look there at how quick the greens were. Now, can we just go back to the swing, Dan? Now, just leave that position there. One, I love balance. When I see balance, and that includes, I include the grip in that. So when a grip looks balanced and when a player looks balanced and square, I love it. Yep. There's number two. When a player's left arm is on the same tilt as the shoulders, geez, I rate that.
Yeah, I'm always trying to get mine there, but they never quite find it.
I was the same. I can never get mine there. Yeah. And here's the other bit. When you get that left arm on the same tilt as the shoulders and the right forearm is still close enough, that elbow is quite close to his right side there.
It's beautiful.
That's Tiger Woods. Yeah. That's where Tiger Woods was.
Now, and then the other thing I was going to say, Dan, go down to impact if you can and pause it there, because watch how he maintains his upper body angle here.
Yeah.
Like right there. That is just pure. He's maintained his angle, hasn't lifted up, hasn't dropped. Oh, that's just so good to watch.
That is so good. Yeah. Now, go back. So there's three things. One last thing, Dan. Can you just go back to the top of that swing again? You're going to have to use the dot. Watch how the club. See the shaft there?
Hang on.
See where the shaft is there?
Yep.
Bring that swing down to the same spot where his left arm is parallel with the ground, but he's on the way down. And I want you to watch the different place where the shaft is. So I love the shaft pointing inside the ball.
Keep going down.
On the way back. And you can see there it flattens out. One more tap. That one there.
Yeah.
And now you can see where the shaft is coming, and it's almost parallel. It's probably just a little bit higher than parallel to his spine angle. And when you get those 3 or 4 things happening and a player follows through to a balanced position, he is swinging the club incredibly well.
Yeah. Plus his lower body there is still quiet as well, which is great. In fairway bunkers, that's a real key. I'm not going to go into those depths in my masterclass, but it's just a wonderful action to emulate.
Well, to be honest with everybody, I've seen your masterclass. Hang around for the masterclass because it is. There's a lot of garbage people talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to hit long irons out of fairway traps. You simplified it perfectly, and you don't want to miss that. If you're having trouble hitting shots out of traps with your long irons or short irons, make sure you hang around for the Masterclass because it's an absolute beauty. So let's why don't we talk about everybody's golf swing who won on the weekend?
Well, we had 3 winners, and we had Straka, we had
Ryan
Fox, and Lucas Herbert. Three very different actions.
Really different actions. So
Sepp Straka's more your modern day. And down the line, great planes, setups beautiful. Classic golf swing.
Sepp Straka has got as perfect a golf swing as you'd ever want to see, and he hits the ball a good distance. He's certainly up in the top 20 percentile of the players who hit on top. I had his stats. I had a look at his stats. He hit one drive, 400 yards on the dot.
Sepp Straka?
Yeah. And that wasn't number one. That was number 4.
Yeah.
That was tied number 4 for the week.
Oh my gosh!
So that's that swing that we're looking at. Even though everything's nice and tight, he's still capable of hitting a drive 400 yards.
He's about tour average though. I think length off the tee. He's not. He's not long or anything.
Not crazy. He's clearly having a good week because now let's go to Ryan Fox because again.
Well, this is an unusual action, isn't it?
This is a very unusual
action. Now, he's coached
by
by...
Marcus Wheelhouse.
Yeah, that's right.
Actually, when we're finished, I might try and call Marcus Wheelhouse. We should get Marcus Wheelhouse on.
Now,
good. Here's Ryan Fox. Now, see how the club is slowly raising and raising and raising until it's well and truly in between his shoulder and his ear. So, very different.
Wow.
Now, there's a good look at his. Look at the body tilt on the way through.
How much room he's got there. That's a bit Joaquin Neiman-ish.
Yeah, it is.
Neiman-ish a bit, isn't it?
All right, Dan, let's test your skills out.
All right.
Let's get
Again,
that swing back on.
For our audio listeners, check out the YouTube version. You'll be able to see all this. But we're just watching Ryan. This club shaft stays on line longer than anyone I've ever seen. Maybe, who was the guy? He won a PGA championship. Sean McKeel was a bit this way as well.
All right, so... what you're talking about here, Nick, let's explain it. So you can see the shaft there is probably pointing just outside the golf ball. So it's not the shaft. This is, if you're listening in the car, the shaft, we've got the down the line picture up. So it's from behind. You can see his target in the background. And you can see there that the shaft is probably pointing outside the ball. Now, when we got Sepp Straka on before, his shaft was pointing just inside the ball and his feet. So I was in between that where Ryan's shaft is pointing on top. Now, continue on, Dan.
But it's really the arms, how they stay so much in front of his body.
In front of his body.
Right
I've never
there.
seen anything
Just
like
pause
it.
it there, Dan.
Stop it, Dan.
Look at that.
If you can go back just a little bit to the top, Dan, this is the position that's very unusual. Is that,
and he's almost hitting the back of his head with the shaft too.
Yeah, like he's that where he's got the shaft there. It's in between his right shoulder, and he's gone.
Yeah, you were talking about the left arm compared to the shoulder tilt. Well, this is completely different to Sepp Straka, isn't it? His left arm was so much flatter there, I guess you'd say, more on the line of his shoulders. This is almost vertical.
Yeah. Now continue on, Dan. Just slowly go down to halfway down. And what's incredible is what you're talking about. That shaft gets online so quick, and it stays online all the way through.
Yeah, they always used to talk about Byron Nelson, how long he kept that club head and the shaft in the hitting zone for a long time. Right. And I guess you could say it's kind of similar here. But the side-on view of this is fascinating. He's got so much lag, so much angle between his left arm and that shaft from the side. But keep going through.
Continue on, Dan.
Look at his upper body there, just staying.
And stop.
Bang.
Oh, just go back a little bit. Let's just go. Look at the side tilt on that, will you? And that's because he's got one of the strongest grips in the whole world. I mean, his left hand is so crazy strong. Yeah. But look at that position.
My back's sore just looking at it.
So, again, if you're in the car, his shoulders are so steep through the ball. His hips are well and truly open at impact. And he's hanging on. He probably isn't. But it looks to me like with that grip of his, he's hanging on for dear life on the way through. There's a training aid that a lot of players use. And I know Ryan Lynch sent it to me a long time ago. Ryan Lynch, of course, does the commentary. He won the West Australian PGA. He's a very good teacher at where is it? Yarra Bend driving range. He's down there. He had a ball. It's like a tennis ball that's on one arm. It's fastened to one arm, and it's designed to keep the forearms together. Now, that's a Ben Hoganism. Ben Hogan in the the 5 modern fundamentals of golf talks about, having binding around his forearms.
Mm-hmm.
And the tennis ball is to try and swing with both forearms connected, and they never lose connection of the ball.
Interesting.
Now, the player apparently who is the only player who can keep the ball connected is not Ryan Fox, although I reckon Ryan Fox could do it. It's Brooks Koepka.
Oh, really?
And same sort of action, really, really strong grip. Side bend and the forearm well and truly inside. Apparently, he's we spoke about coaches not long ago. Remember the coach with the big glasses who used to be Tiger Woods' coach?
Sean Foley.
Sean Foley. I've seen a YouTube clip where Sean Foley says the only person who can use it, so Sean Foley's a big advocate of this particular swing guide, swing helper. He's the one who said that Brooks Koepka is the only player he's seen who can keep both forearms connected to the tennis ball past impact.
Wow.
Well, I reckon Ryan Fox is one as well.
I think he could be too.
I reckon Ryan Fox is one as well. Now, Dan, just go through that one. Just move quickly through this one. So we've seen the backswing. That's Ryan Fox. Yeah, just go.
So this one shows a side view, does it?
Yeah, it does.
Coming
Keep going. Yeah, keep going. Look at that. It hasn't changed for a long time. Bang.
Just keep
side
going,
angle.
Dan.
Keep going all the way through, Dan, and you'll get a different view of his swing.
There you go.
Now, this one. Now, watch those forearms, folks. Imagine a tennis ball in between those two forearms, and look at that. I mean, the tennis ball is still very much... Stop right there. Look at that. That's a smaller gap between the forearms as you'll ever see anywhere in golf. It's Ben Hogan-like, it's Brooks Koepka-like, and we really should get Marcus Wheelhouse.
Yes.
Because it's one thing to teach players who've got a great swing or a textbook swing. I think it would be a very different scenario to teach a player who doesn't have a textbook swing. Jim Furyk.
Totally.
I don't think Lee Trevino ever had a coach, but
No.
that would have been interesting back in the day. No one's teaching what he was doing back in the day, although when you look at his golf swing these days, it looks pretty bloody good, to tell you the truth. But we should get Marcus on.
Sounds good.
I'd like to know where he starts. I mean, if Ryan Fox walked into your driving range and said, "Hey, Nick, come over here and look at my swing, mate," where would you start, Nick?
Well, if he's piping it, I wouldn't say a thing.
He would say a thing, I know. Let's say he's not piping it, right?
Well,
let's say the ball's going left.
Well,
where would you start?
I always find golfers have swings relating to their grip. Okay, so if you've got a really strong grip, that left hand is really strong, your hips and your lower body motion through the ball has to be so, you have to really clear as fast as you can. Now, if you've got a weak grip, they don't have to work as hard because the hands are going to do the work for you. You have to release the hands a bit more. So you sort of start there, I think. A lot of it starts around the grip and then you work your way backwards.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where I'd start with.
I don't know where I'd start either. I mean, I'd say let's go have a look at your putting.
Obviously, you need to work on your short game.
So we actually 100% should try and get Marcus on this week, just for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Just to walk us through.
Good player himself too, Willie.
Marcus was great company. Marcus Wheelhouse. He was great company. PGA this week.
Yes.
Now, we've already done
We've got the picture behind us on the screen.
Yeah, that's right.
Quail Hollow.
If you haven't heard our Betr special, make sure you do. It was a ripper.
They're on all the details for that multi are on socials. So go check them out and get on. No guarantee. No guarantee.
No, rubbish. I guarantee it. We're going to win some cash this week.
Can't guarantee.
I guarantee
Well,
we are going to win
guarantee.
some money this week.
I can guarantee Sepp Straka's not in there.
So just to briefly on wrapped, it's at Quail Hollow. I think JT won it.
2017,
last time.
I think.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's going to be big crowds.
Yeah.
I hope they do what they did last week at Philadelphia. And I hope if it's weather is such that it's not going to be a crazy windy weekend, I would love nothing more than to see a weekend where the greens are running at 13.
And they can get them there quick.
Yeah.
They can get them quick.
Do you ever play it? You
Played
must
there a
have.
lot of times. Yeah, we had what was called the Wells Fargo back in the day.
Yep.
I'm still trying to. I had one of the worst finishes I've ever had at this golf course to miss a cut by a shot.
Tell the story again. Tell it again.
I birdied 15, the par 5, and I'm like 5 under, I think. The cut's around the level par, 1 under.
Yes, unmissable. Beautiful.
Unmissable.
You're thinking about what steak you're going to have tonight.
But 16, 17, 18 are three of the toughest holes. I think they call it the Green Mile. I think
Green Mile. That's right.
That's right. So I hit a horrible tee shot on 16. I end up making triple on 16, and then I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, okay, whatever. And then 17's just a tough par 3 for a lefty. Water short left, horrible. Miss the green right, which is where you're going to miss it. Make bogey. All of a sudden, I need to par the last to make the cut.
And it's a tough hole. It's a tough drive.
No chance. Just never had a chance. I hit it down near the creek, pitched it out, didn't get it up and down. It was horrible. I finished
sick
triple,
did you feel?
bogey to miss the cut by one.
How sick did you feel? Go on, tell us.
I could not eat dinner that night.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm over it. So
yes. Well, I can remember some of the worst cuts I missed as well. I remember one of the best.
I remember the good ones where you make a 30-footer to make it.
Well, let's tell a couple of good stories because you've got a bad one out there. I was playing the Singapore Open one year.
Okay.
And I needed to make some cash. It was a big tournament, so I took my caddy over. Who's my man over there? Drew Dublin just came to me. Good on you, Drew. He listens. He quite often leaves a message too, Drew. Fabulous bloke.
Great guy.
Anyway, I was broke. It was a big money tournament. And I thought to myself, what am I going to do here? I'm playing okay. Should I go over there and get a house caddy? Or should I throw my chips in, pay for Drew to get over there? So I threw my chips in, right? Because I wanted a good caddy, someone to talk to. I need to make some cash. Anyway, it's going to be an even par cut. And I am 4 over with 5 to play.
Oh, okay.
I'm 4 over with 5 to play.
Which course?
It wasn't a tough one. It was a different one.
It wasn't Sentosa.
Anyway, so I've got the sulks, right? I've lost everything. Anyway, I birdie 14. I birdie 15. I birdie 16. It's now game on. Drew is
one more.
Drew was literally, he was crying because, he was so disappointed. He'd made the trip. He could have made some money somewhere else. I birdie 17. And now I'm on the cut line. I'm on even par for the tournament. I go bang, drive down the middle, bang, fat 9-iron. And it got there. It got there, and I had a 10-footer. And it was birdie. For birdie, down the hill. And I thought I'd just lag it. I'm not, park up.
Nothing stupid.
So I just lagged it. Got to the hole, stopped. I looked up. I was smiling at Drew because we'd made the cut, and it fell in, right? So I birdied the last 5 holes. The cut line moved to 1 under. It moved to 1 under. So I birdied the last 5.
To make it.
The last one was an accidental birdie.
Goodness.
To make the cut on the number.
Crazy.
I think I made enough cash to get through for a while, which was great.
I love those.
Anyway, give us yours.
Gosh, there was a few, but for some reason I remember one in Mexico. We were playing where they have the Live Mexican tournament. At Mayacoba, I think it was, and again I never like those. You got to fly somewhere to another country for 1 week, and then you just fly back. If it's another city and that, you can just move around. But anyway, and I went down there and I was struggling in the back nine, same sort of thing. I think I birdied 3 of the last 4, but I had a 35-footer on the last. And it's one of those things, you know what it's going to be because it was late in the day. They got the scoreboard, they've got the cut line, and I'm 1 back. I've got a 35-footer to make the cut.
Yes.
I'm either going home or I get to play another 2 days. And I halfway there, I'm thinking, this can't miss. It's in. And then it starts going offline, because the greens are all this, and then at last second dove in the corner. I'm like, yes, huge fist pump. And I had a really good weekend, so I made a bit of cash. So,
did you?
Yeah, it was a fun.
What did you shoot can you remember? What did you shoot on the weekend? 10 under on the weekend?
I think I ended up maybe top 10ing or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a good week.
That's enormous, actually.
Yeah.
To actually make the cut on the number and then finish top 10.
Finish it off,
That's hard to do on the PGA Tour because a lot of the time the pressure is off.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Saturday becomes a free-for-all because everyone's playing for house money all of a sudden. That's the feeling. And then, of course, if you can sneak another good one, if you're a good player who's not in the TV times, it's a free hit almost for you guys.
No, it is.
For guys like you who could really play.
You free wheel it.
You could free wheel it on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
All of us guys, the blokes who pounded the pavement, scratching for it, used to hate you blokes.
Oh.
Because we'd be feeling money, we'd be feeling the pressure to make some cash. And the big wheeling guys would just cruise in. They've got a pocket full of cash. They don't have to worry.
I know,
And they would just cruise past and shoot 66 and take all the cash.
Beautiful.
Anyway, let's take a break. I'll catch you on the 10th tee. I've got for you my top 5 best ever Australian Opens.
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
I don't. We haven't done this before, have we?
No, we haven't. Not Aussie Opens.
Yeah. One of the ones I featured in might feature. I
Oh,
don't know.
of course it is.
We'll see you on the 10th tee.
All right.
We're live from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters. We all know the number one ball in golf is Titleist and the number one shoe and glove in golf is FootJoy. We're here thanks to the Golf Clearance Outlet. They beat everyone's prices. Ping will always help you play your best. Turn your bogeys into birdies with the Watch My Numbers app. And Betr, the fastest and easiest betting app in Australia. That's Betr. Now, back to Talk Birdie to Me. Here's Nick and Mark.
Okay, now you might have noticed the people watching on YouTube, have a look at these beautiful shoes. They're called Carolina Blue. They are the newest release for the US PGA, Nick, and you can see they're just beautiful. They've got that Carolina blue sole on them. These are part of the Legend Series. They are a limited edition, and they are available this week at footjoy.com.au. So if you're looking for something a little bit different, a little bit special, check out the Carolina Blue FootJoys.
Mark has got prior form in a little bit of light finger action here at FootJoy Titleist. Can you make sure those shoes do not disappear
Just move
at
them
the
more.
end of the show?
Hey, Nick,
They're coming more to my side
Yes.
of the table here.
when we were having a chicken sandwich at the halfway mark,
Yeah.
you told a story to me
Oh,
about
yes.
the other miscut.
Yeah.
Now, you've got to
All
tell
right.
this story too.
Yeah, this one, it's funny how you remember the bad stuff so much. This could almost be worse than Quail Hollow miscut.
I think it is. I
At
think
that
it is.
tournament. But I was playing the US Open 2011 at Congressional.
Rory?
Rory won it
Yeah.
by, I don't know, a street or whatever.
Stacks.
Second round, I'm finishing on the 9th, which is a par 5,
Yeah.
sort of late in the day. And it was stormy, and I know I need to birdie the last to make the cut.
Right.
Have to make it. I've got a wedge in, hit a beautiful wedge, 8 feet under the hole, uphill putt, no problem at all. They blow the siren, okay? They blow the horn for lightning in the area.
You can't putt out.
Can't putt out.
That's right.
But I wanted to. If it was rain or something like
Yeah,
that, fine. But there's
yeah.
lightning, electricity, cannot putt out.
If the sun had gone down, it was too dark, you could putt.
Yep.
But not if there's lightning.
Wait a couple of hours, no. Anyway, play stops. Have to come back the next day. I've got an 8-foot putt on the final hole to make the cut, and I had to wait. How many hours? I don't know, 12 hours or something like that.
Did you practice your 8-footers?
I didn't even go to the range. That's the thing. I thought, should I go to the range?
No.
I'll just go to the putting green. I just went to the practice range, just kept hitting 8-footers. I knew the read. It was like right edge, perfect.
What time in the morning was it?
Oh, it was early, 7, whatever, because they're trying to get play finished. I get there. The greens are pure, actually. It worked in my favour because no spike marks
That's right.
anymore. They'd mowed the greens.
They mowed them for you?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
They got to mow them in the morning. I think they did anyway. It looked pretty good to me. But I hit the putt halfway there. I'm stepping it in.
Right.
I am
It's
stepping
home.
this thing. This is dead centre.
It's home.
Right at the last minute. Hits. I don't know if it hits something. Does a horseshoe, comes back at me. And I'm standing there going, okay, I may as well just book my plane ticket then. But at a major, at a horseshoe, it
Was anybody around to see you stepping it in?
was my caddy. And that was about it.
what a
so,
nightmare.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
a shocker.
geez.
Absolute
That is a
shocker.
nightmare, especially when you know you've hit the most perfect putt.
Did
you could
exactly what I
possibly
wanted. Yeah, I know. Anyway,
What a disaster.
fond memories.
We've had a lot of people get on our Betr multi.
I know. They're going well, aren't they? A lot of people. Thanks for the support, everybody. That's great.
It's going well. If you haven't heard it yet, just to repeat what it is, if you didn't hear the pod yesterday, there's 3 legs. Head-to-head, Rory to beat Scheffler.
No, I love that one.
Yes.
That's a ripper.
2 live players to finish top 10.
2. No, that's a good deal.
It is.
Yeah, go on.
Justin Thomas finishing top 10
Yeah.
and just paying $10, including ties. That's a good price.
He's a man in form right now.
Top 10, including ties. That's fantastic.
Wow.
Good on you, Betr. Thanks for putting that together. And just go to Betr and join up and get on because it won't hurt you. I don't think you can put too much money on. So just jump on with us and hopefully the Wolfpack can have a little win.
But as always, gamble responsibly.
That's right. Now, it is time for this week's Top 5.
Top 5, top 5, top 5.
The Talk Birdie to Me Top 5, thanks to Southern Golf Club.
Top 5, top 5, top 5.
Rightio. Now, the first 2 are a little bit selfish. All right.
Oh,
Okay.
Just a little bit, but the rest are Dickie Die.
Okay.
Best Australian Opens in our history of this tournament going to air. Anyway, at number 5, it was a very, very windy week. Greg Norman did not turn up. And for a lot of people, that was a disaster because he stayed home for Thanksgiving. But the field was ridiculous. I mean, you'd go back and have a look at that field. You had Duffy Waldorf, you had Steve Elkington, who won the tournament. It was one superstar, VJ Singh. You had one superstar, Raymond Floyd. You had one superstar after another.
So it's kind of an opposite because normally Greg plays and Steve stays back in America, right?
That's right.
But Steve came down to play, which was fantastic.
Yeah, it was great that
And he
Steve
won.
came down to play, and he won. He hit one of the best shots you've ever seen on that 11th hole. You know, the second shot over water.
Oh,
There used to be big trees kind of in the water, and he hit this 3-wood that drew, in between the trees. Over the water,
He sent it out and drew it
sent
back
it out,
in.
drew it back in.
what
It
a
was just,
shot.
it was an unbelievable shot. It was
One of the greatest golf swings of all time.
and I was going to say, it was one of those Elkington swings that you could just put on repeat for the rest of your life and be happy. There was also a kid who finished 6th who was the only player in the field who didn't shoot around over par. Who used to go all right back in the early 90s.
I wonder who that was.
Steve Allen's cousin.
That's right. At number 4, the reason this one's a little bit selfish, it's the first Australian Open I can remember watching. I just gave it away. Tom Watson beating Bob Stanton at Royal Melbourne Composite. It was a beauty. Bob Stanton came from nowhere. Go back and have a listen to that pod, folks. It was a beauty with Bob Stanton telling some great old stories about his life. But that 1994 where Tom Watson beat Bob Stanton was a ripper.
84.
84, thank you. At number 3, this was an enormous tournament in this country's history, and it was in Adelaide. It was the Women's Australian Open.
Right.
That the biggest names in golf came down to play. Nellie Corder won it on the Grange Golf Course. The South Australian government had to pick up the tab because it was an LPGA tour event that was played out of America. The South Australian government picked up the tab for everyone's travel and everyone's accommodation.
Wow.
So it's an expensive, it's an investment.
Yep.
But it was a showstopper. And Nellie Corder winning that tournament, it was one of the best events I've ever seen put on in this country. So well done to South Australia and Golf Australia for putting that one on. Must have been back, 2018 or 2019 or
I
something?
have to think about that.
It was a while ago. At number 2, Aaron Baddeley's win at Royal Sydney
Yep.
in 1999.
Remember it well.
That the whole country was watching a kid beat some superstars, including Colin Montgomery and Nick O'Hearn. And you were leading pro that
Leading
week.
pro,
right? You
well,
were
I was
leading
tied
pro.
with the Shark, and I thought I was in with a chance, and then when he hit his 2-iron, Aaron Baddeley hit this 2-iron into 16, I thought, no, it's game over.
It's game over.
He's done it, yeah.
So you had Montgomery was up there, Shark was up there, you were up there. Who else was up there? It's some big names.
it was,
Lonard.
yeah.
Everybody was up there.
Absolutely. I
And
think Mickelson came down that year. Did he come down or not? No, he was at Metro. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, that's right. And the reason I remember that is because Richard Green, they put 3 lefties together.
Oh, right.
They put, I think it was Chalmers, Richard Green, and Phil Mickelson,
Mickelson,
all
there
playing
you go.
together in the first couple of rounds. So that's 1999. That was a beauty. But the Australian Open that stands out in my mind is 1991. So it was the last time the Australian Open was played at Royal Melbourne Composite. That is the year that a kid, another amateur, called Robert Allenby, hit a 5-iron to the 72nd hole to this far on a really windy day. He calmly knocked it in. And I think that either got him into the lead or tied for the lead. But what he didn't know was coming was Wayne Riley birdieing 16, 17 and hold that monster on the 18th green.
Yeah, that was quite a win.
It was anyway, that to me
Brilliant.
are the best Australian Opens that I can remember. Now, if there's some that I've missed, please get in touch with our socials and let us know what your greatest ever Australian Open was. But I reckon they're hard to beat.
That's a good list. I like it.
I reckon they are hard to beat.
Well, there's every chance people will have a different view. People seem to like to have a different view
It's
sometimes,
okay.
don't
That's okay. That's okay.
Everyone's entitled to their opinion.
But see, the beauty of this one, it's not situational. So you can't you can argue with this one. It's not a situational shot.
You're just bringing up the war now, aren't you?
Well, I'm just saying a lot of people forgot about the situation that Rory McIlroy was in because that was the greatest shot ever hit, ever.
All right,
in the
Nick,
history of golf.
You good to go?
Yes, we got the
Time for the Ping Globals. And on the tee for the Ping Globals, because Ping will help you play your best, Nick O'Hearn.
Oh, I like that announcement.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I like on the tee.
It's been a while since I've been announced to a tee. So. PGA Tour, they had two events going on this week. Obviously, the Truist Championship at Philadelphia Country Club, where we saw Sepp Straka have a 2-shot win over Shane Lowry and Justin Thomas. It was neck and neck down that back nine. I was playing some really good golf and tied with 3 holes to go, but unfortunately Lowry bogeyed 16, went for his birdie putt on 18 to try and get the win. I don't know if you saw that. Ran it too far past, and Straka ended up with a nice two-stroke win.
Can Straka win this week?
The PGA? No. I'm just going to say that.
Okay.
That's
good. It's on the record.
I'm just putting it out there.
I'm going to back him now that you've said that. That just adds to it.
Well, he's not in the Talk Birdie City Betr multi.
He's not in our multi, so I can't say he's
That's
going.
okay. No, you saying no means I say yes.
Well, it's his second win this year, so is he going to win 3 tournaments in a year? And one of them a major? That would be one heck of a year.
He's swinging pretty well.
Of the Aussies, we had Adam Scott tied for 34th, Minwoo Lee tied for 51st, and Cam Davis tied for 54th. The other thing about Straka, he was using that old zebra putter. Remember those things?
Yeah.
With the lines on them?
Yeah.
Haven't seen one of them in ages.
It's funny when they had the shot of him, he wasn't wearing FootJoys, but he was wearing Adidas shoes. I felt like he was using an Adidas putter.
Right, yeah.
It had the 3 stripes.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah.
On the opposite field event, PGA Tour, they were in Myrtle Beach for the Myrtle Beach Classic in South Carolina, where Ryan Fox had a bogey-free 5-under-66 final round and went into a playoff with Harry Higgs and Mackenzie Hughes. Now, Hughes had a chance to win in regulation, but unfortunately bogeyed 18, because he's a ping player. However, I do have a soft spot for Ryan at the same time. So, first playoff hole, little chip from off the back right-hand edge, never looked like missing.
Never looked like missing at any stage.
And that's his first PGA Tour win. He's won 4 times on the DP World Tour, but hasn't quite been playing as well as you'd like in the US, but this kick starts him, and it does get him into the PGA this week, which is fantastic.
I reckon he'll do well at the Quail Hollow.
I think he will too.
I think he will do well there.
Plenty of length, and you do need to bomb it out there. It is a bit of a bomber's course, Quail Hollow.
We haven't spoken about how far he actually hits the ball. I mean, I know we spoke about his swing. You know, when we looked at his swing,
he's one of the longest.
When you looked at his swing earlier, when he was at the top, it's not like he's got a Rory McIlroy shoulder turn.
No.
He's got
a lot of arm swing in it.
Yeah, it's almost a 3/4 shoulder turn. But my God, the turbocharge with the hands at the bottom is something special. Yeah, he smacks it.
Yeah, if he played rugby, which I'm sure he did, you wouldn't want to run into him, that's for sure, out on the field.
I wonder what sort of a rugby player he was.
Who knows?
His dad was pretty good.
His dad was very, very good. On the Asian Tour, we had the International Series in Japan, where our own Lucas Herbert, he was 5 shots back with 3 holes to play in round 3.
Are you kidding me?
And he finishes eagle, par, eagle.
Are you kidding me?
To get into a tie for the lead going into day 4, and then he blitzes everyone, shooting a 7-under-64 in the final round for a 5-shot win over Yonghan Song and Yuta Sugihara. He was also, speaking about putters, earlier in the week he bought a second-hand putter from a Korean golf shop.
Yeah.
Which he took out and shot 9 under with in the first round for a 62. So
I love those stories.
I think it was one of those Seagroove putters or something like that. So, isn't that fascinating?
Not quite a Scotty Cameron.
Not a Scotty Cameron or a Ping answer, but hey,
not too
whatever
bad.
Works.
Not too bad.
Anyway, it was a great win for Lucas. Good to see him playing so well. Of the Australasians, Nick Vogt was the next best, tied for 12th. Jed Morgan tied for 14th, and Travis Smythe tied for 23rd. On the LPGA, we had the Mizuho Americas Open at Liberty National. I've played that golf course. We used to play FedEx Cup tournaments there. Not a fan of it, but anyway, it's one of those golf courses that, hey, someone's got to win. The only reason I say that is because I played poorly. So anyway,
a drive-by on the course?
Well, it was built on a garbage dump, I believe.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think it used to be a, what do you call those things in America? Recycling
Yeah,
something
recycling centre.
Yeah, it was a trash, whatever.
One of those.
So, yeah, anyway. Beautiful views because you've got the Statue of Liberty, you've got New York skyline in the background, just incredible.
It's important on the broadcast, isn't it? Because I saw a couple of holes. I mean, every camera was situated so you could get the Statue of Liberty in the background, but it does give you a beautiful feel for where it is and context about the golf course. It was great. It's 2 weeks in a row the girls have played somewhere special.
Yeah, no, they have. Yeah. It's a nice spot in New Jersey. But Gino Titakal had a bogey-free 3-under-69 for a 4-shot win over Celine Boutier. She just sort of put her foot down and no one could catch her. Best of the Aussies, another really good week for Steph Kuriako. Birdied 2 of the last 4. Remember last week she had that albatross to get tied 6th. Well, this week she finished tied 5th. So she's She's starting to bank some good checks. Really, really good.
Maybe
Another
I
good
should
week.
start backing her instead of Sepp Straka.
Maybe. Anyway, West Australian, Hiran Naveed, really good result. Tied for 8th. Lydia Ko was tied for 11th. Minji Lee tied for 15th, best of the Australasians. DP World Tour, they had the Turkish Airlines Open where Frenchman Martin Couvra had a 2-shot win over 2 players. Kazuma Kabori, best of the Australasians there, tied for 52nd. And on the LET, we had the Aramco Korea Championships where Hyoju Kim had a win. Yeah. Kelsey Bennett, nice top 10, tied for 8th. And then also, last little shout out for Austin Batista, who had a runner-up finish on the Sunshine Tour in South Africa. So good to see him playing well.
You know the winner on the European Tour in Turkey, the little Frenchman, he'll be on the US Tour.
Really?
Real soon.
Okay, I didn't see him play. I just saw the result.
He's just a youngster.
He's good, is he?
Yeah, I rate
Obviously.
him. I rate him really highly. I also rate the golf course they played too.
Okay.
It looked fantastic on the telly in Turkey.
Yeah, I missed it, unfortunately. I just saw the results. I can't keep up with everything.
If you ever go there for Anzac Day and you're a golfer, put that golf course on the list because it looked fantastic.
Beautiful.
By the way, I've just backed Sepp Straka.
What did you get him at?
$51. $51.
Wow.
And I've put 100 on. So
Jeez,
when I pocket 5,000 next week,
he's a sucker for punishment.
You really are.
I'll thank you.
Okay.
Now, in the Ping Global results next week, Nick, I think one of the results that we will expect you to deal with for us and talk us through is the results of this weekend's 2025 ISPS Handa Australian Blind Golf Open.
Wow.
And before we get to feedback, we're going to have a chat to a Wolfpacker who's playing there this weekend.
Fantastic.
I'm dying to know how they play.
Oh, well, we can find out.
I'm dying to know.
So we're going to give Mark a call.
Beautiful.
G'day, Nick and Mark. How are you, boys?
Marco, we're very well. We're excited for you, though, because you are playing in the ISPS Australian Blind Open at West Beach Parks Golf Club, and I'm dying to know, how on earth do you play this game when you can't see so well?
Look, I've been playing golf for a long time, and for me, it's not as big a struggle as it is for some of the other guys. We have a lot of assistance from our volunteer caddies who help our golfers out, line them up. You know, they have their practice swings, they line them up, they say, no, bring your right foot around, bring your left foot around, you know, roll the club head, you know, to 2 o'clock or whatever. Give them instructions, and that helps them get there.
You know, Mark, I used to play the blind golf day back in WA in the probably mid to late 90s, early 2000s, and Dr. Handa, who's obviously ISPS Handa, he used to sponsor the event and come along, and he does a lot of things for blind golf and the All Abilities as well. But there was a guy I used to play with who was world champion back in the day. Have you ever heard of a fellow called Ron Conway?
I have.
Yeah.
We've had a number of world champions. We had the female world champion up until the last time around, Michelle Watts. I'm the current Japan Open champion. We've got our upcoming World Championships in August. Australia's got 8 representatives.
I kind of understand blind golf a little bit if you're hitting it straight. Tell me what happens if you're hitting the crooked, because, you know, the blokes I play with on a weekly basis, they don't know where the ball's gone, and they can see just fine.
I can tell you how to play from hitting it crooked, because it hasn't been going great for me in the last few rounds. But look, it's just a game of golf, and you get tossed up what gets tossed up. If you hit it in the rubbish, you've got to play out of the rubbish. It's no different. The only difference is a few modified rules. We can ground a club in a hazard, a la Patrick Reed. We're allowed to do that, though.
Yeah.
But our caddies are our greatest help, and without them, we'd be buggered.
So, Marco, one of the things that we see on the PGA Tour these days is players feeling how a putt will break using their feet. Now, I imagine if you can't see too well, this could be a real opportunity for you guys to use that extra touch that you might gain from not being able to see too well.
Exactly right. That's how a lot of our more impaired players will read a putt. They'll walk the line, and they're very good at it. It's not something I do. My vision is at a level where I have no fine vision, so I can't read a newspaper, can't read a book or an eye chart, but I've still got reasonable vision into the distance, so I always putt with a flag in, which helps me. That's been a great boon for us as blind golfers, or low vision golfers, more to the point, rather than blind. I've got less than 10% vision, which is our starting point. You've got to be less than 10% usable vision to qualify to play in a blind tournament.
Yeah, some of the best putters I've seen actually are some of the blind golfers and the caddies. You were saying before, the caddies are so important. One question I do have, and I think maybe the area where you struggle quite a bit is in bunkers, I would imagine. Is that the hardest part of the game for you guys?
For some of the guys, yeah. But being able to ground the club, the caddy can put the club behind the ball and say, right, swing through.
Yeah.
You know, this is you need to come back to this point. And a lot of the guys, the caddies will say to them, okay, you're on the green now, this putt is a 7. So they know that they've got to hit the ball at 70% of their stroke.
Yeah, right.
Or, you know, it's a 2. Or they'll walk up and they'll hold the flag and then take their hand off and go, right, I know where the flag is. They'll knock it in from a foot. It's not that different. It's interesting to watch the game from a sighted person's point of view. But it's an amazing thing. Sports improves the lifestyle of so many people with a vision impairment, whether it be golf, cricket, tennis, and lots of our athletes play a number of sports because that's their social outlet. That's their good headspace.
Absolutely brilliant.
Mark, before we let you go, because I know you're about to go out and play this afternoon, before we let you go, can you just quickly give us a few seconds on Phil, who apparently is a bit of a superstar in the sport, right?
Yeah. Phil Giles started making inquiries about 18 months ago about playing blind golf. He lost his sight, I think, 6 years ago through a medical accident. Phil, in his younger days as a teenager, was a 6 marker. He came to blind golf, played his first tournament in New South Wales last November. He'd been playing golf with his mates regularly as a blind person in normal competition. He's a member of a golf club. Phil's handicap has come down from 44, I think, in this tournament. With the slope rating, he's playing off 33. So his improvement in a short period has been enormous.
No, that's great to hear.
He's totally blind. He actually won the longest drive yesterday.
Wow.
That's unreal.
He hit his drive, I'd say, 240.
Wow.
Well, Marco, we love hearing these stories. Let's hope you beat Phil, because I might go to Betr and put some money on you. The way you've got an air of confidence about you.
I'm no chance of beating Phil, mate. I had a pretty ordinary round yesterday. I parred the first, and I knew it was all downhill from there.
Good on you, Marco. Hey, thanks so much for joining us, mate, and good luck at West Beach Parks Golf Club for the ISPS Australia Blind Open. Good on you.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for your time.
Pleasure. Golf is a tough game at the best of times, Nicholas.
Have you ever tried to hit balls closing your eyes?
Yeah. I don't go too well.
No, neither do I.
And you feel things in your golf swing that you don't want to feel.
No, that's right. I actually find it. I do find it good for putting though. I really enjoy it with putting, but the golf swing, I really struggle to make contact.
It's an early masterclass. If you're having trouble with your putting, particularly the shorties, just line them up.
Yep.
Close your eyes before you take it away. And just feel what you are doing.
I used to do that in tournaments. No, I used to do that in tournaments. I know Sergio did it a few years ago where he won. Remember that?
And I reckon Johnny Miller won a US Open putting with his eyes closed.
Yeah, he had the heebie-jeebies.
He had the shocking heebie-jeebies, but that's why he was doing it. And I reckon Jordan Spieth every once in a while, maybe not during tournaments, but definitely during practice. I know he looks at the hole.
Yeah, he does that one.
All right, boys, we've got some feedback, and I think, Mark, you're in trouble today.
Yeah.
You're in trouble.
He's always in trouble.
Come on. I'll believe it when I hear it.
We're going to stick to some feedback on the greatest shot ever made in golf, because there are some more suggestions, including one that I think You, Mark, will find it very hard to disagree with.
There's some sore losers out there. You can't possibly beat Rory's shot situationally.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to defend you today. I might just have to lay back off this one.
All right. So first of all, from Sean. Now, Sean hasn't disagreed with you, but what Sean has pointed out is something very, very interesting. Guys, a lot of the great shots discussed on the pod have one thing in common. The putt after them was missed.
That's right.
Rory on 15 at Augusta.
Yes.
Phil on the 13th at Augusta.
Yes.
Corey in the 18th.
Yes.
Bubba in the playoff.
Yes.
Tiger's bunker shot in Mexico.
Jack didn't miss the 1-footer though on 17 at
No,
Pebble Beach.
it was a 1-incher. He got that one. That was a hell of a shot.
Yeah.
I reckon that's number 2.
Ooh.
Oh,
Okay.
I think it's number 2.
What about the Tiger one?
The fairway trap. No, not even in the conversation.
Okay.
no.
All right.
0.
From Paul. Feedback on the greatest shot in golf. Rory's was a great shot, but I've seen similar before on that hole. I think the greatest shot ever was Tiger's 3-iron over trees at the 2002 PGA at Hazeltine. Left to right, howling wind, gets a 3-iron up and over the trees while standing in a bunker with the ball below his feet. Nobody in the world could have made that shot except for him.
See, that's a different category. That's the most unbelievable shot hit. But that's not the greatest shot ever hit. Situational comes into it. If we're just talking about a ridiculous shot,
Yeah.
done in practice.
Top 5 most ridiculous shots you've ever seen.
Yeah, so you know who wins it? Vijay Singh, when he skimmed the ball across the water and it goes into the hole.
Yeah,
right?
maybe.
That probably wins that conversation. But is that shot the greatest shot ever hit? Not even close. But it's a freak shot.
Okay. David has written in, "G'day lads, I'm looking forward to coming to Victoria for a round with you, Mark, because the greatest shot ever made wasn't Rory's. It was Monty's 7-iron at the 2006 US Open. As they're all subjective, Mark, surely you can agree that's the best."
Yes, I see what angle you're coming from. And that's a very good one. I like it. Every shot makes somebody happy in golf. And that is that shot in particular made a lot of people happy.
We had a couple of people comment on this particular one that we didn't talk about actually, but maybe could have. This is from Ant. "Bryson's shot was damn good. Larry Myers pitched in on the second playoff to win the 87 Masters. That was very good. And Bob Tway made a sand shot on the 18th in 1986 in the USPGA to beat Norman by 2.
Yeah.
What about Faldo's 2-iron off a hooked lie on the 13th in the final round of the US Masters in 96?
Lovely.
Yeah, that was a great shot.
Yeah. I think Faldo hit a long iron too. One of those British Opens he won.
Yes.
That was hit
Might have been
hit the bank and came back a bit. It was
Newfield
into
maybe?
the wind.
Yeah, I remember that final hole.
Yep.
Great shot.
John Hopkins, love the show. What about Tom Watson's chip in on the 71st in 82?
Yeah,
Yep.
good. Yep.
Great shot.
Not the greatest ever though, Mark?
No, it was just a chip. No.
Okay, all right. Now, before we get to the one that I think you cannot argue with, we did a poll as per last week's podcast where you guys suggested we do a poll.
Yes.
There was 4 finalists, Rory on 15, Jack on 17 at Pebble, Bubba in the playoff, and Phil on 13 at the Masters. In 4th place, Jack, 11%.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
Yeah.
That was lower than I expected.
Oh, not, the age group. This is age group, surely.
Well, who
Go
knows?
on.
In 3rd place, Phil on 13 on 19%.
Okay.
Was good.
In 2nd place, on 34%,
Don't you dare.
Bubba.
Yeah.
Good.
In 1st place, on 36%,
Ooh,
Yes.
just pipped him.
Rory.
Okay.
There's a lot of vindictive people out there trying to just mess with that poll.
Yeah. Okay, now the last bit of feedback here. This is the one that I think, Mark, you are going to find it very hard to argue with. This is from Chris, Wolfpacker Chris. He's done very well to point this out. G'day, team. I love the podcast, but I'm disappointed. You have missed the clear greatest shot ever. Multiple hazards in the way, requiring far more precision than Rory's shot did. It went in the hole. It was the Tour Championship. Talk about clutch.
Yeah.
And lastly,
Yes.
his grandmother's house was on the line.
Yes.
Happy Gilmore's final putt.
Yeah, look, it was an unusual setup on that final green. There's no doubt about it.
I was wondering where you're going with this.
Yeah.
I'm racking my brain thinking, okay.
And look, Shooter McGavin was in the picture. He's one of the greatest golfers we've ever seen.
Yes.
Yeah.
But look, it was a movie. Probably the best shot ever hit in movies in
Yeah,
Hollywood.
that's true.
Oh, no.
No, tin cup.
Tin
I mean,
cups, yeah. What do you make, 14 or 15?
He did have a lot of cracks at it, though. A bit like my hole in one the other day.
So you're saying Chris is wrong. It's not the greatest shot ever made.
No, it's a nice, it's a good effort. And I know what you're trying to do, but no.
Right, okay.
No. But that's good.
Okay. Well, that is the feedback for today.
I'll tell you what we will do, though. I'll
Right.
put up that game of golf at Kingston Heath again, and it will be gettable. All right, folks? So it will be gettable. I'll do that at some stage
Ooh, okay.
later this year.
All right, 30-second break. Back with a masterclass from you, Nick O'Hearn.
Okay.
So you get ready to jump on the tee.
All right. Well, what a shot by Sepp Straka on the final hole at the Truist Championship at the Philly Cricket Club. I love that golf course too, by the way, and that's our masterclass this week for Talk Birdie to me, his fairway bunker shot. Now, obviously a lot of golfers have trouble with this shot, and a couple of reasons for that is they lose their balance, I guess. They slip around a bit, so you must dig your feet in. Really dig that feet in, and if you watch Sepp, he really anchored himself into the sand. And the other thing that does is it quietens the lower body. We want to have a nice quiet lower body as we swing through. And then lastly, I want to be nice and stable, nice and centered. I don't want any up and down movement or side to side movement. That's the key in these. So if you can stay nice and centered, keep a quiet lower body, you're going to flush these every time. Oh, look at that. That was pure.
Excellent. I love that. Absolutely perfect. I love the quiet. I know I'm always a quiet feet person in the traps, but you're saying basically whole lower, whole self as being quiet. I think that's brilliant.
Lower half, just stay centered and solid contact is never far away. A lot depends on the lie too. If it's sitting down, you got to take your medicine a bit, but when you get that perfect lie, you can always hit those long irons well out of them.
Okay, well, let's just delve in a little bit while we got the time. Let's say the ball. Let's say that Rake Pod hasn't been aired as yet, and somebody has made a mess of the bloody trap, and you get in there, and it's in a bad lie.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking not just in a slight, down, a little bit of the ball not showing. I'm talking about bad lie.
Yeah.
What would you do if Straka, in Straka's situation? So it's important.
Yeah.
So let's say it's not a fried egg, but he can't make good contact.
Yeah, he's basically you're taking your medicine in that scenario. I mean, the first thing you got to look at is the lip. Okay, if I hit this a touch thin, am I going to catch the lip? Because in those scenarios, you can hit him a little thin.
Easy.
Not too thin, obviously, because you don't want to get it going along the ground. But you can almost thin it on intentionally. Now that does take a little bit of practice. But I always say loft is your friend in those instances. That's why you practice your short game. You're probably going to have to lay it up, put it back in play. Don't try and do things that you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, it's funny. You were a good pitcher. I was a good pitcher as well back when I was playing half decent. If I ever had one of those situations, I was really happy just come out 30 yards short because I'd back my pitching in.
Yeah.
And that's what pitching and short game does for you folks. I mean, if you are competent from 30 yards to the hole and you're a good 6-foot putter, those situations are right up your alley.
Yeah.
It's kind of a watch this situation.
Yeah.
Watch me get out of this situation.
That's why I enjoyed US Open so much, because if I did miss a fairway, I think, well, I'll wedge it out and I got a good wedge game. I can probably get it up and down half the time and we will just keep going. Other players had still tried to go for it when they shouldn't have, and that's when they started making doubles and triples and you're out of it. So,
hey, guess what? Marcus Wheelhouse has got back to me, and we're going to talk to Marcus Wheelhouse. Can we just fit him in this week?
Yeah, of course,
just a little 10 minutes about what it's like trying to coach someone like Ryan Fox.
Right.
So Marcus Wheelhouse, we'll get him a little later this week as well.
And don't forget, the Betr multi, the Talk Birdie Betr multi is on now. Just a reminder, if you haven't seen what it is just yet, or if you've missed it, it is Rory to beat Scheffler.
Yes.
It is 2 live players top 10.
Yes.
And it is Justin Thomas top 10. $10,
Very doable,
including tyres. It's gettable, but there's no guarantees.
I think we're going to break Hummer's
No
neck.
guarantees.
I think we've got him.
It's about
All right.
time.
Good on you guys. Go well. Come on, Seb.
And that's been Talk Birdie to me, Australia's most popular golf podcast, with Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen, coming from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters. As everyone knows, Titleist is the #1 ball in golf, and FootJoy, the #1 shoe and glove in golf. Wherever you get your podcasts, make sure to subscribe, maybe leave a review, and we'd love you to share the pod with a friend who loves their golf. Huge thanks to our fantastic partners. Ping, like they do for Nick O'Hearn, will help you play your best. You can see your local golf shop or professional for a Ping Club fitting. The Golf Clearance Outlet always beat everyone's prices. Visit golfclearanceoutlet.com.au for your nearest store. Watch My Numbers is the most powerful data-based golf app in the world. You can download from the App Store or Google Play. And Betr, they've got the fastest and easiest betting app in Australia. Download from the app stores today. Now that's better. Keep in mind, what are you really gambling with? But for now, from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters, thanks for being a part of the show. We'll see you next time.